Hey, and welcome back to Beer Babies. My name's Will, and I'm your host. And today I've taken a lovely trip up the northwest, and I've stopped at the coastal town of Penguin. And I'm really excited today because I'm getting to chat about a brand new brewery that's opening up right now.
Yeah, within 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we're in an active work site right now, which is pretty exciting for me. As I've never been on the tools. It's not my background, so it's always interesting to see things in work and things in motion. So thanks for joining us today. I always start the podcast when I have a chat to people, Scott, the same way, and I always ask sort of what's the history of your brewery, your beer, your tap house, all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
good question. I've been involved in craft beer for about 15 years in one way or another, mostly as a beer fan, but had a little bar down in Bendigo in central Victoria. My wife and I came over here on holidays, first time I'd ever been to Tassie, and came here January last year and just fell in love with the place. There, Penguin, Ulverston on the northwest coast. It was just fantastic. So we went home, pretty much packed our bags and moved over.
Yeah.
So within 12 weeks we were here.
Wow, that is a very rapid turnaround. So you say you've been in craft beer for a while. Where did it all start?
Probably started when I was living in London, and I used to go to a couple of local pubs, and they'd always have these weird beers behind there, and I'd get curious about it, these IPAs and other things, and ESBs, and I'd always try it. It just blew my mind, I used to drink Colton Cold, which is just basically, no beer at all. But then when I was living in London for those 2 years, just absolutely fell in love with it, and the fact that I could go to the pub every day, there'd be a different beer on. I wouldn't have to wait, a week or a month or anything. I'd go, every day there'd be a different beer to try.
Okay.
So I really got in love with trying those. And then when I came back to Australia, there wasn't a great deal around. There was Mountain Goat was doing a bit. We spent a lot of time at Holgates in Mount Macedon, and just get it anywhere we could find. But I still couldn't really get that special beers that I was chasing. And then I guess the big one I found was Murray's Icon Double IPA. I don't know if you know that, but it was a big beer. This is going back 10 years ago.
Okay.
But it absolutely blew me away, and just it showed me what beer could be. And I spent a few years just chasing up, I guess, that first high.
Yeah, and I think that's such an interesting story that I hear more and more when I talk to people involved in craft beer, is that they tried something and they really liked it, but there wasn't the market for it to start with, so they went and did it themselves. So you said you came down to Tassie, loved it, couldn't leave, and so now you've come back and you're starting this. So tell me a little bit of the process about.
Look, my
Penguin
wife and I both had jobs lined up when we came over to Tassie.
Okay, that helps.
It did, but then we found this place and threw the jobs in. So we were driving past here, and there was a full lease sign on. It was an old bakery, and I mean, this building dates back to the mid 1940s, just post World War II. It was built, and then I think next door had been. The additions happened in the 80s, and then they've kind of joined it all up. But up until about 18 months ago, it was a working bakery, and that bakery's moved across the road.
Cool.
So it was really derelict. It was filthy. It was, it'd be, I won't tell you things we found in the ceiling and in the walls. It was, but look, when they're
not there now.
No. So, but we saw the for lease sign, and my wife just said this would be a great craft beer bar. I mean, it's right on the beach. It's really the only commercial property in town that's actually on the beach. Not being across the road like the others. So it was really unique in that respect. But this wharf that's facing the beach was just a brick wall.
Yeah,
there was nothing there.
I cannot get over the view. Like I put in the GPS where we were heading beforehand. I knew it was close, but you're on the beach.
At high tide, you can cast a line from the deck.
Yeah, it is amazing, and like this is still a work in progress. But I can see the ideas you've got here, the way you've opened the whole thing up. You've got this amazing roof and this amazing view. How did you get to this? Like you said, it was derelict, and now you've got this amazing, nearly finished building.
A lot of work and a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we've honestly been at this now for, I think this is month 13. So we've 13 months we've been working on it. We had a lot of issues sorting out the lease, working through the landlord, trying to get a decent deal there. Then we had a lot of issues with council, and then we've had issues, some building issues. But then every time you did something here, we had to reinforce all the walls, and the place was falling down. It really was. So it's been a long, hard process. But we just had a revision, I guess, which changed. I've got to say, that's probably another reason for quite a few of the hold-ups. The vision changed a lot along the way. But my wife and I just spent many nights and many beers just sitting up real late and planning the whole thing out and getting to something exactly how we wanted, and it's turned out pretty much exactly how we envisaged it.
Yeah, well, I think you guys have a great eye for detail, because this place is
that's all my wife. I'm going to give her credit for that.
Very good. So we've talked about the background. Tell us a bit about the beer. Now, do you brew this yourself? Before I get to that, I feel like I jumped ahead. Where did this recipe come from? Did you come up with this?
I did, yes. Yeah. So we've got 3 beers at the moment. We've got our King Penguin Pale Ale, our Royal Penguin, which is a choc brown ale, and our King, this is the Royal, and our Emperor Penguin, the IPA, which is a big IPA.
Yeah.
So I really wanted Penguin Beer Co. to be traditional beers with a little bit of a twist.
Yeah.
So our pale ales are very traditional pale ale, but it's a few tropical notes. Lots of Galaxy hops. This is a traditional English brown ale, but we've used 20% chocolate malts and cacao nibs in the mix just to give it a bit of a chocolate hit.
Yeah.
And the IPA is straight up West Coast IPA, big dank kind of bitterness, and it's great.
Yeah, well, because I was just having a sip of this, and you can really get those sort of the tropical notes.
Yeah.
And stuff
So
like
when we started planning this, I bought a little brewery at home, a little grainfather, and started working on recipe development there. So I spent probably a good 6 months just working through recipes and refining things, and lots of trial and error, lots of error. But
I know I've just started home brewing, and I know all about errors.
So once we got where we need to be, except for this choc brown, this is the exact recipe that we did the first go.
Oh, nice.
I haven't changed a thing, and it's fantastic. But so then we had to find somewhere to brew. So initially, my wife and I thought we'd start this bar, and we'd save up and build our own brewery over the next 3 years or so.
Yep.
So we were contract brewing out of Morrison's in Launceston at the moment, and Paul there's been a great big help. So he's made all these beers to the point where we're really, really happy with him. He's done a great job there. And I should say that we've now got investors on board, so a lot of people have taken a lot of interest in our project here.
Yep.
And we've had some people approach us, wanting to get involved, and so now we're building our own brewery about 3 years quicker than we thought we were.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that project's underway at the minute.
It is. The brewery was ordered last week, so it's being manufactured as we speak. Yeah.
I think it was nice. You mentioned there before working with Morrison's, and that seems to be a pretty common theme of people helping each other out in the craft brew scene. Has that been your experience so far?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everyone here is fantastic in craft beer, and they always have been. Our experience over on the mainland and back here in Tassie's been very welcoming. We've got Communion Brewing, which is opening in Burnie, just down the road. Okay. And I've been in there to see Andrew quite a few times, so we'll be helping each other out as we go. The guys at Buttons here locally have been fantastic, really supportive. We had our launch of the Emperor Penguin IPA last Friday night down at Buttons. And Paul at Morrison's been great, and all the people I've met in Hobart as well.
Yeah, it's so good, and that's something I've found doing this podcast. And like I'm a firm believer of a rising tide lifts all ships, and I think that's like perfectly encapsulated in the craft brew scene. It seems to be nobody's mad that somebody's opening a new one.
No, it's not, because we are really helping each other. I mean, the 2 little breweries down the road, they're not competitors. We're more colleagues. Yeah. The competitors are, the big breweries that we need to convert people from. Yeah. Everyone else we see a bit more as a collegiate approach.
Yeah, and it's that's so cool. So you've got some incredible glasses. I normally don't talk about glasses, but you were explaining them to me before, and I think the beer babes at home would love to know what the deal is with these incredible looking glasses.
Yeah, so we actually found it. Well, it's like a traditional IPA glass. I guess we've got the two ridges at the bottom, and then usually a tulip top. But these have a smaller bowl, being a schooner size rather than a larger pint size. We first came across these glasses at Sanctus Brewing in New South Wales, up near the central coast of New South Wales, and just loved them. Firstly, they're insanely appealing. They look fantastic, but it also really aids in head retention. Like you'll see, as the head drops down, but as we get down to those ridges, every time the glasses bubble over the ridges, the head starts to build up again.
I'll have to drink a bit faster
so
we can see it in action. No, I think I'm so impressed by everything that you guys have already put together, and I cannot wait to come back down once it's all finished. This has been a great chat, and I've gotten so much out of this. We always like to wrap up the same way, and that is to ask, what's your favourite beer? It doesn't have to be one of your own. It can be, but what's your go-to beer?
Favourite beer probably is, I can say so many, but I love a good West Coast IPA, and I think Bright Brewery is doing it best at the moment with their MIA IPA. Absolutely my favourite beer. I think.
That's great. Well, I think Penguin Beer Co. is definitely moving up on my list. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you. So, before we finish up, can you tell the lovely people at home when you guys are hoping to be open and what you're planning, your open hours and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm thinking we're going to open July 3 at this stage. Pending council approval, of course, like everything. So we're only 2 weeks off now.
Yep.
And sorry, I forgot the rest of it.
Open hours.
Yeah,
when people can come, when are they allowed to?
We're going to be open every day.
Yep.
Monday through to Sunday, midday through to late. Yeah, most days we're going to have burgers, tacos, and fried chicken coming out of the kitchen.
Nice.
We've got some really good cooks that we're very, very happy to have on board. We've been really lucky in that respect, and some great staff. So what we're, I guess, really looking to do here is we want to provide people with the best beer experience in Tassie. And that's why we've gone the extra mile with the glassware, staff training, that kind of thing. So we really want people to come in here and think, wow, that's really different.
And I suppose one other thing I want to wrap up, I just remember because I looked over, you've got lots of taps. You guys will be serving a nice range of beers?
Absolutely. We want to have beers from all over. We'll be launching with beers from, we've got some Tassie beers, other Tassie beers coming on board. We've got some from Queensland. We've got some from Victoria, New South Wales. We've got a couple lined up coming over from the States.
Oh, cool.
We really want to give people a full experience.
Awesome.
We're also going to have canned gluten-free beer and alcohol-free beer, just so we can cater for everyone.
Everybody. Yeah, and well, I will be back here when you guys are open.
Great.
I'm really excited to come back down. I'm going to drag the other beer babes along. But yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Will. Cheers, mate.